The lesson.
Oh, yeah.
What are the sort of things that you got to look out for, or that put you on edge? You know, obviously security being one, and alarms and triggers and all that kind of shit.
There were no alarms, there were no triggers or any of that sort of stuff. If any of the sort of stuff I was involved with in that, there's just about perhaps a security check, and that's about it. And generally a lot of it was to do with getting in there and getting out. Once you're in there, you're laughing. But if anyone saw you getting in or getting out or whatever, and that's when the alarm bells would ring, so to speak. I can remember one situation where we were going somewhere once, and bloody hell, yeah, we were going somewhere and we dropped all our paint off and that, went and parked the car and that, came back to pick our paint up, only to see the neighbour come out, pick our paint up and that, and walk into their house with it. And we just all looked at one another and thought, okay, well, that night's over and done with. So the neighbour had seen us pull up in the car or whatever and that, seen us stash our paint. And then by the time we'd had a chance to come back, they were grabbing it and confiscating it, so to speak, and that, and taking it into their house. So, yeah, they took the toys away that night.
And do they have, like, dogs with them, like the way police have dogs? And
in that situation when I got done that time, well, they basically said, yeah, if you want to screw around sort of thing, we're going to send the dogs in. But, yeah, I don't think I actually saw them there or whatever and that. But, yeah, I would suspect on occasion that sort of thing could happen. But I think most people would agree in situations like that. Again, it's about getting in and getting out safely. And once you're in there and that, you know, you're probably shitting yourself for the first half hour and that. And after the first half hour and that, people are lighting up cigarettes and bloody knocking cans on the side of trains and that, you know, and all caution goes out the bloody window to a certain degree and that, you know. And I can remember situations with, you know, one individual coming up to me and that and going, this is easy, isn't it? And then just heading back and continuing on with their painting and that, you know, and it was bloody hysterical, to be honest. I just thought, bloody hell, mate, you got time for this? Get back to what you're doing. But, you know, and then, you know, you're glancing left and you're glancing right and all this sort of stuff to start with, and then, hey, mate, if you're in there for half an hour in the old days and stuff, half hour, 40 minutes, and you reach that comfort zone, I think you're pretty well right. So, but, you know, you never know.
So I imagine if there was no... you know, no alarms and stuff like that.
But you don't know any of this until you try it. And that's the, you know,
yeah.
People say, oh, it was easy back then. You go, yeah, what? Someone didn't hand over a book and say, this is how you do it, mate. You have no idea, you know, until you go in there and just test the waters.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And no one's training you up or anything in that, you know. First yard I went to, I didn't even know where the hell it was and that. We just, you know, knew it was at the end of the line. And luckily the guy I went with went there once, you know, with some other guys. But he certainly didn't know what he was doing either. And as you know, even when you get in there and that, you know, you go, well, shit, you know, this is a bit higher than I thought it was and that. And you pick a different row or whatever and that, the gradient of the ground may be slightly different or whatever and that, and you can get a bit more height. And you know, if you're height challenged and that sort of thing, that's going to be a difficulty. And, geez, we should have brought a crate with us and, you know, all this sort of stuff.
And, like, I understand that these days you can't just snip fences because it sets off silent alarms.
And I think actually that time I got done, that was the big giveaway in that. We cut the fence. If we hadn't cut the fence, you know, we cut the 3 rows of barbed wire that they had at the time and that. If we hadn't cut that, then, you know, the security checkers, I think it was, that came around and that wouldn't have noticed there was anything up and that, wouldn't have called anyone. We were, you know, deep in the heart of it, and unless they had heard us or smelt anything or anything like that, they would have no reason to stop.
So if you're not cutting the fence, then how you'd go over the fence?
Well, you know, a lot of times, well, I think 99% of the time I went, there wasn't any fence.
Wow.
They put the fences in for a reason.
So you were hitting yards before there was fences?
There were no fences.
No shit.
There were no fences.
So when would the fences
And again, I know it sounds easy and all this sort of stuff. Everything sounds easy in hindsight. You're going to look in this situation in 20 years' time and that, whatever's going on in a yard now and that, and consider now as a joke compared to what would be going on in 20 years' time. But yeah, there were no fences. This is extremely sort of naughty stuff, if you know what I mean, you know. Like, you're sneaking out from home, you're defying your parents, you're putting a whole heap of things at risk. The whole gamut of lines you across them basically to do what you need to do in that. Then, after you've finished your piece, now whether it's a line or a yard, and that makes no difference in that. You're staying out all night, you're sleeping rough. No one had cars or anything like that. A couple of guys or whatever in that, but the majority, no one had cars. You're just sleeping out.
And so you're basically just getting in and getting out. No fence, no alarms. Just keeping an eye out for security.
Yeah.
And might have a dog.
I think
Wow.
the chances of having a dog's pretty rare. I mean, they didn't travel with dogs. Dogs would have been a special sort of situation. Hey, we've got some guys in here and that, we can't find them or whatever and that. Ring up the dog squad, and bring the dogs in, So that's a secondary sort of security measure. But yeah, I mean, I know it sounds easy in that, but it wasn't. And no one else was doing it. So, you're breaking new ground in that.
So were you one of the first, if not the first, in Adelaide to hit panels?
No, I was not the first in that. No, I wasn't even one of the first, to be honest, in that. There would have had to have been, 3, 6. Off the top of my head, at least 6, 7 guys that had been there before me. At least. Probably 10, 12. Chrome and people like that were there before me. Cage was there. The OK Crew guys from Outer Harbour. Certainly, Rust and Run and Tense, Wiki, Marl, Sprint. Yeah, there are a lot of guys that are earlier than me. Style, Bomber. Yeah, so maybe there's 20 that were there before I was there. Easy.
And were you ever going in solo, or you'd always go in with 2?
Yeah, a couple of times I went solo on that. That's pretty freaky, man, believe me. Yeah, that's pretty freaky because, when you see trains creak at night and that, you can hear them creaking, they talk to one another in a way and that, I don't understand the mechanics of it all or anything and that, but yeah, you hear sort of some freaky sort of noises. And when you're painting with other people, you can at least bounce off one another a little bit and go, hey, did you hear that? What do you think of that? No, I reckon it's cool, mate, keep going or whatever and that. When you're on your own, you only got your own imagination and your own sort of assessment of the situation to deal with whatever's going on at the time. So yeah, a couple of times I went my own and that, and it scared the shit out of me. And you do what you got to do in that, and you get the hell out in that.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, it's an interesting experience on your own. That's for damn sure.
So much different.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, you haven't got anyone else to sort of bounce off and check things, and yeah, it's pretty freaky.
And then, so why would you go on your own?
Oh, I can remember one particular occasion, that was supposed to be a few of us that went and that, but they just all got drunk and that and go, oh, no, don't worry about it, mate, I'll go next time and that. Go, well, screw it, I'm going anyway. So, yeah, that was roughly the story of that one.
The lesson. Oh, yeah.